Alright, so today we're going to look at the moon and more specifically objects that orbit other objects, and we're going to try to find out if it's even possible or not. So we're told that the moon goes around the Earth. It travels at 3,600 kilometers per hour and goes in an elliptical orbit that ranges from 360,000 kilometers to about 400,000 kilometers from the Earth. Now, the moon has phases, and we're going to look at that a little bit later. The moon stays in orbit because of Earth's gravity. Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason you're gonna find. It's just gravity. No explanation how or why. It's just gravity. Okay, fine. Let's explore. Now, we have simulations like this. Supposed to be based on the numbers that were given. This simulation. The moon is going around the Earth in about 29 days, face to face. And the phases of the moon that we can see from Earth is caused by the Earth's relative position to the sun. And we're told that the light on the moon is from the sun. So if you see light on the moon, all of that light is from the sun. And we see here an animation where this yellow band is the path of the orbit of the Earth around the sun, and this gray band is the orbit of the moon around the Earth. And this is fine as long as this is a perfect circle, as it is, and the Earth is standing still, then this will work. And the moon is also, of course, synchronous in its spin around its own axis, so we only see the same side all the time. It's very convenient. It's not 1 degree off or something that would make it change over time. It's just perfectly synchronous to the spin of the Earth. And so we're looking at this animation. And if you don't think about it, this makes sense. The problem is that the Earth is moving also. The Earth is moving at an incredible speed, which is 67,000 miles per hour, or 110,000 kilometers per hour. And so this simulation doesn't show that. If the Earth is moving at 110,000 kilometers per hour, then this simulation doesn't work. And then the whole heliocentric model doesn't even work, because that applies to all heavenly objects. All of the planets, they move, and if they have objects going around them, then how can you explain this? So at this point, the Earth is traveling this way along the yellow path, and then at this point, right about now, the moon is directly in front of the Earth, and the Earth is traveling this way, right? So for the moon to be able to always perfectly, year after year, go around the Earth, then to get from there in front to behind, it has to slow down. So now it has to slow down, or else the Earth is gonna leave it, right? So what happens when the moon is behind? The opposite must happen, right? So I'm gonna just try to find the right. So we're here. So at this point, it's catching up. Fine, but when the moon is behind here, it has to increase its speed to be able to catch up, right? So the moon is constantly changing its speed, and that's why it has to have an elliptical orbit. So the same thing applies to the sun and the earth. The earth is going around the sun, and the sun is traveling at 720,000 kilometers per hour. So you've probably seen this before, this video here. This is what they're telling us. The sun is traveling at 720,000 kilometers per hour, and then all the planets are just keeping up. So how exactly is gravity doing this? I mean, you can just put them into orbit and then it'll magically be drawn towards its center, but at the same time it needs to be constantly accelerated, and it's just dragging it with, like, it's just being dragged with. How is gravity doing this? How is it doing it? Look at this. So this planet is here. It's supposed to be Jupiter, and it's just following this. How? There's a vector going this way, there's a vector going this way, and at the same time it's being pulled in. So there's like this really complex magical motion. This is not possible. This is not possible. You can never ever replicate this. This is just pure fantasy. The sun would just leave them immediately. The earth would just leave the moon behind immediately. And not only do they follow, but they follow the exact same path year after year, and they never disappear. You can predict this using an astrolabe, right? So, I mean, do you believe this? Other problems as well. We have this kids animation here, and it's showing the moon. So the moon is new here, and we won't be able to see it because the light is towards the sun and the dark is towards the earth. And of course this animation is is an illusion because this right part of the earth should be dark completely. But okay, let's say this works. And then we fast forward to the full moon. And they claim that the full moon is only possible when the sun hits the moon directly. And so this is deception. In this drawing, now you can see the dark side of the moon here, and you can see the dark side of the earth here on the same side as the sun. And so, okay, so maybe they just made a mistake, or maybe it's intentional deception. But the moon is now in the shadow of the earth, and the full moon should only be visible in the nighttime because it's away from the sun, right? And so how is it then that you can see the full moon in the daytime? I've seen this myself. You can see the full moon the whole day in daytime. How is that possible? And you will not find a straight answer. I've searched everywhere. These questions that I'm posing, you will not find a straight answer. They will tell you it's because of the angle of this and that, and it's because of gravity. Doesn't make any sense. Do you believe this? I don't. Think about it.